Good morning and happy Saturday. Welcome back to John's Comics with Friends. Hello, everybody. It's the Saturday morning comics show. This is the mostly weekly show that I do every Saturday, looking over what we read and what we watch and what we enjoying, what's going on in the world. Good to see so many friends already hanging out in the chat. Let's go and say hello to all of our early morning tailgaters, including Matt from Heroes for Hire Comic Club. I was hanging out with him last night. We were having a live stream. It was me and it was Big Jeff and it was Vogsy. We were all hanging out talking X-Men comics. It was a whole lot of fun. He will post that video, I believe, here in the next week. Or no, maybe it's later today, actually, Matt. You let us know what time. I think it's later today. You tell us what time. What is going on? Ruben Guzman's in the chat. What's up, Ruby G? My video on Thursday was all about the books that Ruben gifted me just about a year ago. It was a fun way to kind of catch up, update on what's going on with the collection that I got from him. Good to see you, friend. We got Matty H in the chat. What's going on, Matt? Happy Saturday, my friend. And we got Happy Valentine's Day. You can love Cyclops all you want. You can have him. You and all of the telepaths in the X-Men universe, because apparently those telepaths love Scott, right? Jean, Emma, Psylocke, they all seem to be gravitating towards this guy. I don't know if that means it's there's emptiness upstairs, but they do appreciate the Scott Summers. He's even dropping the channel members Scott Cyclops emoji in the chat. There you go. Thank you for asking, Matt. He is home. He's recovering really well from his quadruple bypass. So Pop seems to be on the mend. He went up to UCLA Medical Center for his checkup with his cardiologist yesterday. Everything seems to be progressing normally. So he's got his PT ahead of him and all that kind of stuff, but on the right path is where he's at. Thank you for checking in. Matt says that video drops in a few hours. So about a little less than 4 hours is when that video drops. So make sure you've headed over to the Heroes for Hire Comic Club, subscribed, and be there for the premiere when that drops. So he's specifically doing a video about Rogue and the issues that precede and lead up to her joining the X-Men, and then those first couple issues as an X-Man and what that impact is on the team and on Wolverine in particular. So yeah, if you want to hear about those particular issues, definitely make sure you're over there. My man Scott Hazelwood is in the chat. What's going on, Scott? How are you and Flower doing this morning? Hope things are well up there. Relaxing this morning, getting some good Portland area coffee this morning, I hope. So I've got a lot of little goodies here this morning. I've got things that I just unboxed that I want to share, things that sets that I'm working on completing that I've got here that I'm excited about. I even shot a video on was it Thursday or Wednesday and posted it to channel members only, so it's up there for now. I've always got I'm trying to stay 2 or 3 videos out so that my Thursday videos are always backlogged and ready there. So if you're a channel member, you can just watch that stuff as early as you want, as early as I drop it. But I got a bunch of new Omnis in my collection. I mean, it's only what, 45 days into the year. And I've already gotten a slew of new omnibus in my collection that I wasn't planning on getting. But when you see a great deal or an opportunity arises, you got to jump on it. And one of them I won. So I was going to just go through and show some of those and show some of the things I got from the Bronze Age nerd, Chris, one of our neighbors to the north here on the West Coast. Bronze Age nerd does charity auctions for Heroes or the Till Valhalla Project and Mission 22 for veterans. But he also does auctions for his own channel. And I was in one of those with he and Big B McFly, the comic guy. And I bought some things from those guys. And so I got a little stack here, including the next big channel member giveaway item, which I think is going to be a very popular one. We'll see how that goes over with you guys all this morning. Glad to hear Flower is doing well. She is definitely a fan. We are fans of Flower here, Charlie and I. So we're missing her. I hope she's doing well. I'm glad to hear that. I also made my thumbnail using the new Game of Thrones prequel show, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which I have been loving, and I think is only 3 or 4 episodes deep so far. They drop every Sunday, and that one's been phenomenal. I really want to talk a little bit about that. Shrinking is back over on Apple TV. Boy, I love that series. Jason Segel is a producer writer on that one. Harrison Ford obviously is incredible on it. So many great actors participating. It's just been one of those shows that I'm going to be sad when the season ends and I got to wait another year because it's already been renewed for season 4. So we know it's getting a 4th season, and I'm excited about that. Hey, my man Rod the Rican is in the chat. What's going on, Rod? Happy Saturday to you, buddy. I hope you've got some fun plans for this weekend. I am off for 4 days. The Monday is a holiday, and next week is no kids on campus. So I'm using a couple of vacation days, even though I'm going to do some administrative stuff on other days. So I'm taking Tuesday off. So that gives me I'm on a 4-day furlough, 4 days off. So I'm very excited about that. Brian LCS was live this morning. I was listening to his show while I made breakfast and then set up this stream. Good to see you, Brian. I hope things are going well. Sounds like he is prepping for the Comic Community Awards 2026. So he's looking for people that might want to help behind the scenes, people that want to be involved, or people who have ideas. So obviously always reach out to Brian if you have any of that to share with him. Scott says he's loving Night of the Seven Kingdoms. It's so good. And I have read, I think, all the short stories that it's based on. So I'm excited to discuss some of those kind of things for sure. Roscoe's in the chat. What's going on, Roscoe? Happy Valentine's Day. I keep forgetting it's Valentine's Day. In my family, as a whole, Valentine's Day was never a really big thing. And then when I met my wife, I learned that her father's birthday is Valentine's Day. So this is actually my father-in-law's birthday. He is no longer with us. He passed away a number of years ago. But it's always more been a sort of day to celebrate her dad, who she absolutely adores. So in our family, Valentine's Day tends to be a lesser event. But I know Kate, as she's got a boyfriend right now, so I know she's got big things planned for today. But me, not so much. Get out of here with 4 days. Hey, take it where you can get it, right? What is up, Kevin? Entropy and Comics is in the chat. Good to see you, Kev. Hope things are doing well, man. And thanks, Rod. I appreciate you telling people. Yeah, hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Yeah, for sure, because we're dropping content all the time. Let's talk about live streams. We were live twice this week. I had the Tuesday Omni X-Men stream. We were talking about Marvel Fanfare 33, and we had our friend Albert Loves Comics on for that. That was a whole lot of fun. And then Wednesday night, I had my man JP on, and we were talking about New Teen Titans. That's why they're all behind me. Some of my slabs for the New Teen, it's She-Hulk, but some of the others are slabs for New Teen Titans. And I was so enthralled by what we were doing, I went and bought something. So let's share a little bit of that. For those that don't know, I have a somewhat limited collection of single issues from the New Teen Titans. But what I've been trying to do is collect the out-of-print trade paperbacks because I've got so many of them signed already by Marv. So I've got one. Sorry, I should show them as I say them, right? 2 and 3. These are the ones that JP and I read and discussed on Wednesday night. If you missed it, so much fun. I really do adore this era. But I've also, of course, got 4. Love this cover. I have a slab of this cover. It's so stunning. But the slab, the actual comic has a white background, not a black background. So there's 4. I got 5. And again, all of these are, there's one that needs to get signed. Uh-oh. Is 4 signed? Oh, goodness. Do I need to bring a bunch of these too? Oh, he signed there. That's what it is. Marv signed there. Where did he sign? And he signed there. Look, right underneath Cyborg. There's the signature. Okay, 4 and 5. And I found a copy of 6. I needed this one. So this one should be unsigned unless there was a miracle that I don't know about. Yeah. So I'll get a signature from Marv the next time I meet up with him, hopefully at a con here soon. Then, of course, I have the Judas contract. There's a signature there for 7 and 8. He signed next to Cyborg again right there. So those are the 8 volumes of New Teen Titans that I've got. I've also got 1 volume of the Silver Age, the original Teen Titans issues. So I've got a nice little collection of trade paperbacks. I just need to get one of them apparently signed. There are, I believe, 14 total. But seeing as they're out of print, it's going to be a little tricky to get 9 through 14. Those last, whatever 6 are going to be tricky to get. So I got to work on that a little bit and decide how deep I want to go. But right now I've got a nice set. I might get 9 just to have them, in all the omnibuses that that they make. So that's stuff that I'm excited to have in the collection and to enjoy for sure. Ian is in the chat. What's going on, Ian? Happy Saturday, buddy. I agree. And as an X-Men fan, there's wonderful kismet, wonderful sort of connectivity between the new Teen Titans that Wolfman and Perez did, and of course, Claremont and Byrne and Claremont and Cockrum era Uncanny X-Men. I feel like there's a lot of crossover there as far as, a young team and, really talented creators and really pushing the envelope with young characters. And I thought it was really cool to compare some of that stuff for sure. Is Marv actually a Wolfman? I don't know. I've never really seen him after dark. I usually only see him in the daytime. So there you go. Dia Wolf is in the chat. What's going on, sir? Happy Saturday. Looks like Matt's trying to purchase the Akira box set. Ooh, very exciting. So there you go. There's some new Teen Titans stuff that I've been working on, that I've been collecting. Let's get into some omnibus. Very excited about these two. So since we're doing DC, I got recently 2 omnis for Wonder Woman. This will make Magic Lasso very happy. He already knows this news, but yes, I got the John Byrne era of Wonder Woman. There's a single volume omnibus for that. Thanks to Lasso for helping me find a crazy good deal on that. And I also got the Phil Jimenez era in 1 volume as well. This for another really great deal. So I got both of those omnis just this last couple of weeks. Let's see here. He's only a Wolfman during the full moon. That's why. Okay, got to know that. There he is, dropping the little emojis. So yeah, 2 new Wonder Woman omni. I'm still looking for that 3rd Perez omnibus, but seeing as it's never cheaper than $250, I'm waiting. I'm being patient. I bought a bunch of those Byrne Wonder Woman comics when they were coming out in issues. There you go. Hopefully you enjoyed them. Hopefully you enjoyed those. And I have 3 other DC volumes that I got recently. I got the hardcover for Batman and Robin Year 1, still shrunk wrap. This just came out, Wade and Samney last year. So great. I got that. I upgraded my Human Target, which I think I showed off last Saturday Morning Comics, because I'm going to be giving away the 2 single volumes. Where did they go? Yeah. Can I reach it? Oh, I'm giving away these, right? I'm giving away these at the end of the month, along with my channel member prize. I'm also going to have a second giveaway of this at the end of the month. Some Angela goodness. Those are the prizes for channel members at the end of this month. So I got 2 for a rare moment. I'm giving away 2 prizes at the end of the month. And then lastly, my last DC item was this deluxe edition of Far Sector. N.K. Jemisin and Jamal Campbell did such a great job with this series. And this is such a nicely designed hardcover. It's just, I couldn't say no to that. So sorry that I couldn't be there. Bearded Comic Bro did a offline hangout book club discussion around this. I could not make it because I was doing another stream. But yeah, such a great book. Such a great book. Those out-of-print omnis will hurt your wallet. This is true. Volume 3 sold on eBay for $275 the other day. Womp womp. Yeah, I'll never pay that kind of money. But yeah, dang expensive. So yeah, those are all the DC goodies. There we go. 15 minutes in, and I shared all of those. I also, thanks to Lasso, if you saw the live stream he and I did not too long ago, I got a couple items through him. Firstly, I got the X-Men Volume 2. This is the Neil Adams era with Polaris and Havoc and all those great moments. So lots of goodies in here. So this goes from where we at? Issue 32 to 66. So lots of good stuff going on here. Some Kazar as well. Some Marvel Tales. So this was what did it say? 35, something like $35. Can't say no to that. And I won on Lasso's channel, the Savage She-Hulk Omnibus. So there are 4 new Omnis and a bunch of oversized hardcovers to add to the bookshelves. It's going to be tricky. We will see how I fit them all. It's going to be tricky. That's the biggest challenge. Good morning to you, Gore. Happy Saturday, my friend. Yeah, I'm not sure how tempted I am by volume 1, but I probably at this point have to have it. If I've got volume 2, that's going to be a tricky say no kind of a thing. He was looking at Uncanny Avengers Omni. Cheapest one he found was $275. Yikes. That is expensive. That is an expensive omnibus. Oh, kitty cat jumped in here. Don't knock anything over, Goober. All right. Last items that I got from in-stock trades include the trade paperback for Ram V and Dan Waters, The One Hand and the Six Fingers. The way I've never read this. I heard a ton of great things. It's technically 2 stories, one by Ram V and one by Dan Waters. I believe it's some kind of a murder mystery broken into 2 pieces and then, put back together again in this collected 10-issue soft cover from Image. So I'm kind of curious by what it all means and why it was designed this way, but I do believe it's kind of one of those cop chasing the killer kind of stories. So I'm very curious to read this. An Eisner winner, of course. And then I'm dabbling in manga from time to time, and I saw a great deal on the hardcover for Lone Wolf and Cub. This is the first sort of omnibus, if you will, collected edition, massive tome. So this is volume 1 of Lone Wolf and Cub. I don't know if it tells me how many issues it collects. Let's see. Collecting the stories from Lone Wolf and Cub, volumes 1, 2, and 3. For the first time presented in a right to left reading format in English. So there you go. So beautiful bound edition of that. I'm not sure when I will get to reading any of these things. Some of them I've already read. This would be a reread for me. So lots of goodies there. This is a massive, massive stack of reading material that I got recently. And lastly, Lone Wolf and Cub is excellent. So Scott, there you go. Lastly is the stuff I got from my friend I mentioned, Mr. Chris over at Bronze Age Nerd. I snagged a few fun variants from him in an auction he was doing on his channel, Bronze Age Nerd here on YouTube. He's often with Big B McFly, the comic guy. These are 2 of our friends in, I believe they're in Portland area, if I'm not mistaken. But this is a beautiful variant. This was for the Rise of the Fall. Is that what it's called? What did they call it? I'm struggling to remember. Rise of the Powers of X. Oh my goodness, Mr. John. What is my problem here? So it's a fun variant for that. He also had a beautiful Storm variant for X-Men Red issue 10. This is a variant I did not have. Thought that was gorgeous. The first appearance of Lady Deathstrike. I got that from him. Had to do it. Great price on that book. Another Silver Age Aquaman to add to the collection. Continuing that run slowly but steadily. And then off of eBay, I finished my run of these great Mark Brooks covers with Emma Frost. I've got the pink and the black and the, what are the other colors? There's 3. Is it white? This might be white. And now I've got the red. All of those are the Virgin variants. I've also got the trade dress, which is the red one with the logo. So I've got all of them now. I've got a nice little collected edition set there of those. But the last thing I got was the big thing that's going in the giveaway box at the end of March. I've decided that the all-in special number 1, first appearance of the of all the Absolute characters. This is a wraparound cover, and the Absolute characters are on the back, but the original team is on the front. It's also signed by Snyder with a little COA on the in the back of the bag there. So I'm giving this away to some lucky channel member at the end of March. So I got all kinds of giveaways coming, all kinds of things. Emma looks like Kachu. You think so? Maybe a little bit. I think obviously this is a not an homage, but certainly in the vogue of or in the style of that Marilyn Monroe photo shoot, I believe, is what they were going for. Those boudoir Marilyn Monroe photos where she's lying in bed, I think is what they were going for here, if I'm not mistaken. It's not an exact homage, but very similar. I'd like to win the all-in signed giveaway. Well, there you go, because you are a channel member. You and Scott are definitely already in the running for that, right? You're already set to win those. So there you go. Those are some of the things I got this week. Some of the things that I think that's everything. I think that's all I got this week. But that's a lot. I mean, some of it I got over the last month. But yeah, some goodies. Lady Deathstrike is desperate need of a manicure. This is true. Good morning to Kevin. I think I said hello to Kevin already, but hello to Entropy and Comics, my friend Kevin. Are you working today, Kev? Hopefully getting your monies today. It's a good time to be a channel member, and I did add some channel members here in February, so they are now all in the February giveaway. And if they stick around, they would be in the March giveaway as well. But let's talk movies and TV. Let's put a little banner up. Which one I'm going to do? I'm going to do this one. Let's do the Game of Thrones one, right? Because I want to talk about this one. Hopefully, it's not going to bother people too much. I'm not going to go into like crazy timers. Oh, what am I doing here? Timer off. I'm not going to go into crazy like spoilers, but I'm definitely going to talk about the show for sure. What's up, Dan's Comics Corner in the chat? What's going on, Dan? So yeah, there's Kevin. There's Scott. I know he's pumped on it. So yeah, I'm a big Game of Thrones fan. I've read all the books. I enjoyed the first show a whole heck of a lot. In fact, I even like the ending, even though I know that it's the worst season of the show. I'm not upset about it. I'm not mad at it or busting my TV over it. I think it's uneven, and I do think it's rushed, which is shocking because they took so much time to do it. But at the same time, I'm not upset with it. I liked it. The House of Dragons show has been a little underwhelming. Not bad, but I just don't think it has the intensity that I think the other show had. But it's good. It's still good. It's not bad. It's just very convoluted, lots of characters. Sometimes it's easy to confuse characters because they all tend to be Targaryen, so they're all the same sort of blonde looking characters. So yeah, it can be a little bit harder to follow, I would say, the House of Dragons show. But I was excited when they announced that they were going to do A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which I knew as the story of Dunk and Egg. That was what kind of the books, the original short stories were all kind of called The Tales of Dunk and Egg. Dunk being short for Duncan, Sir Duncan, a hedge knight. And I think sometimes they were even called the Hedge Knight Tales and things like that, because he is a knight, but not one that is really recognized around the Seven Kingdoms. He was knighted by another knight who was dying, and as such, he is not really of noble standing in any real way. And Duncan is trying to leave his mark, trying to be of use, trying to be honorable in a very, as we know from watching the other films and seeing the other or shows and seeing the other books, it's not an honorable world. So this is the challenge that Dunk has ahead of him. And he comes across this young, bald squire boy named Egg, because his head looks something like an egg. And it's the story of this unlikely friendship and the ways in which they become destined to be in one another's lives. And I'm not going to give away too many of the big twists. This is a wonderful debate. They seem to show it on the show, right? They seem to show a little bit of it. But yes, it's all up for debate. It's all up for debate. I thought they showed a little bit of a moment, but maybe it was just his description of it that was so vivid. No, we're not talking about No Country for Old Men. We're not doing that. I feel similarly. The final season of Game of Thrones is one of the best episodes as well. It was called A Night of the Seven. I get you. I see what you did there. The show is fabulous, says fantastic, says JSS. Thank you, John. I'm glad you're enjoying it too. I bailed on Game of Thrones halfway through the last season, to be honest. Well, it might be worth going back and watching. I think I can understand people that were very upset about it. They were very frustrated with it. I can understand, those thoughts. Oh, and there's the wiki for the Tales of Dunk and Egg and the Goodreads listing for the Hedge Knight. So that's how I knew these stories. I guess now they've republished them recently in a collected volume called A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. I didn't even know that they had done such a thing. So I guess now it has a third title. So there, it's been given several names. I just knew it as the Tales of Dunk and Egg. And it was more of a comedy. It was definitely a different tone than the Game of Thrones story because I think we were dealing with someone of such low cast, right? Someone who is definitely, on the bottom scale of things, not vying for the Game of Thrones, right? Not playing in the big world of power that is so constantly overriding most of the Game of Thrones stories. So Duncan's story, I think, is a little more low stature, and as a result, I think it has a layer of kind of comedy to it that the others don't as much. So very entertaining. If you haven't read it, I recommend it. My wife was caught unaware by the big twist that happened in the not the most recent episode, but the second to most recent one. I think it was the third. I think they've had 4 episodes, and the third one ended with a big twist that was beautifully kind of set up so that she didn't see it coming. And I thought that was a good sign of quality writing for sure. Oh yeah, the episode where Brienne was knighted, that's a great one for sure. Let's see here. The comic book is now obtainable. Oh, there's a comic book version. Oh my goodness. I just bought the 3 novella collection with the Gary Gianni illustration. Oh, that's cool. Is that the one that's called A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, not Dunk and Egg or the Hedge Knight? I remember seeing the Hedge Knight version, but maybe that's just the name they did for the comic. I can't keep them all straight because there's lots of iterations of this story and the importance that it has on the Targaryens at that time, because it does bleed over into the Game of Thrones for that particular era. So I will say, I think now that they've had 4 episodes, if I'm not mistaken, they're all great, and they are all really well done. The the trials and tribulations of Duncan are quite captivating, and he is so honorable, and you can just constantly see him butting up against people that are so not, right? And I think that's been the enjoyable part, is how long can he retain that sense of nobility and honor in a place that doesn't value it, right? In a place that doesn't respect that and has no interest in it. So I'm kind of curious to see, how far the show goes. I don't, there's not a lot of source material here. It's not like they can do 5 seasons and a movie out of this, right? I think it's a trickier one to do long term. It does have an ending, so I'm kind of curious how that goes. Gore says, what I found annoying regarding Game of Thrones was the fascination with who would be killed next. It was like that with Sopranos, endless speculation about who would get whacked. Well, I think it's natural because, life and death is always in the balance on those shows. And you're wondering, will my favorite character die next? And I think that's a sign of quality writing to some regard, because the audience knows nobody is safe and anything can happen at any moment. So that's, for me, that's a sign of quality. But I also know that the speculation was rampant for Game of Thrones as far as what was going to happen to which characters, where they would end up, who was going to end up with whom, who would survive to the end, who's going to be on the throne at the end. All of that stuff I thought was wonderful. And ultimately the bigger arcs and where everybody finished out worked for me. There were a couple of smaller details that I didn't like. I didn't necessarily like how they landed some of the storylines, but it's kind of nitpicky. For me, it's not outright loathing or a huge frustration. It just, for me personally. Bobby is in the chat. He says, I pledge my good right sword arm. Okay. There you go. Pledge away, sir. Oh, we've got Reverend Bleeker in the chat. What's going on? Bleak, good to see you, my friend. Good morrow, Gore. Like the trials and tribulations of Scott Summer. He has no his problems are all of his own making. All of his own making. Let's see. There's a lot. Yeah, sorry. Sir Hazelwood. Yes. There's a lot of killing. A lot of killing. The good book, Good Hunting. Hedge Knight climbs to the top of Amazon. Oh, that's awesome. Glad to see that. Friar Bleeker. Okay. Plot armor destroys a lot of shows. It's also almost refreshing to see a main character get killed off, right? It definitely gives a lot of good twists. Biggie Shack is in the chat. What's going on, Biggie Shack? He won the big prize from the Magic Lasso giveaway. If you didn't see it on his channel, he did an unboxing. That book is just gorgeous. But back to the Night of the Seven Kingdoms. It's been really great so far, and the most recent episode ended with a big cliffhanger, and the next episode I think drops tomorrow night. So I'm going to be rabidly watching to see how the trial by combat, but it's like a different variation of it. We saw a lot of trial by combat in Game of Thrones. This is a different iteration of trial by combat, and I'm kind of excited to see how it plays out. We had some good twists in that sequence, so very excited for that. So it's been a great series. If you aren't watching it, I highly recommend it. It's been a show that I think, I don't know how long it'll last. I can totally see it being a one season and done kind of a thing. I don't know, but it is far superior to the House of Dragons. But it's not to say House of Dragons is bad. I just think it's not as wrapped up in all the little infighting drama stuff, and it's focused more on these characters, specifically Duncan and Egg. And I think as a result, I think what you end up with is a more compelling narrative, right? And like Game of Thrones did at the beginning, it didn't have 17 main characters. It really had like 3 families, and it was zeroed in on those families to start, right? You had the Targaryens across the sea, the Lannisters down in King's Landing, and you had the Starks, right? The Baratheons were so tied to the Lannisters, it was its own thing. As the show grew, we got a lot more things to it, but it started, I think zeroed in, and I think that's what made it so great, in my opinion. Let's see. Who else is going on in the chat? Too bad you can't plead the 5th in trial by combat. Doesn't work that way. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. Okay, so it is maybe renewed for one more season. I'd be excited to see where they go with it. They better film those episodes before he hits puberty. Yeah, get the cameras rolling as soon as possible. Front load all of Egg's stuff as early as you can, for sure. So yeah, there it is. Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Definitely worth the time. If you've got HBO, dive right in. You also don't need to have watched Game of Thrones to enjoy this. There is no need for it. It is its own story taking place way before our characters. It's nice to know, oh, that's from the family of this, person, or that's the family of it, but it doesn't have any weight or bearing on the story. So you can absolutely skip anything else. Let's see. We got Christy Angels in the chat. She says episode 1 had me in doubt. 2 wasn't here or there. 3 was my fave. 4 left me wanting more. Only negative, they need to cut the toilet scenes. I mean, it is a show that does go all in on just being kind of gross with puke and bathroom potty stuff. Like, it is definitely going in on that stuff because I think it's trying to be different than the High Lord hoity-toity House of Dragons kind of stuff. I think that's my thoughts. But thank you for coming, Christy. I hope your Saturday is off to a good start. It is. Oh, it does. Look, there it is. There's the news. John helping out in the chat. I appreciate you, sir. There's a deadline article that. Deadline article that it was renewed. So there you go. Precisely. Death and the underworld. I mean, there is definitely some things going on there, especially when we know the Targaryen line is due to fall. I think that's the looming shadow for both of the current Game of Thrones shows, House of Dragons and this, is that we know the Targaryens are sitting on a time bomb. We know that they get wiped out. We know that Dany and her brother, the last surviving Targaryens, air quotes, flee across the sea, and that that their family goes to ruin in a lot of ways. And knowing that, I think it puts this cloud or this shadow over the characters because they're squabbling over nothing, right? They're fighting. It makes their fighting seem so petty because they won't end up with any of it, and their ancestors won't either, right? So that part of it kind of leaves you with a sense of dread, maybe something like that. Mad Spidey, what's up, Simon? Happy Saturday, dude. I'm assuming he's going live. It's at 4:00 my time, 7 Eastern. I'm assuming Simon's going to be doing his Saturday show as he always does. Happy Saturday, my friend. So yeah, yes, I've read all the books. I'm a big fan. The books are obviously far superior to all the shows, and I truly do appreciate them a bunch. And I hope that our friend George R.R. Martin lives to see the completion of his story. I grow less confident in that every year because he's got one book that's unfinished and one that he has not started. And those are the to be finished pieces at this moment. And he is a writer who's notoriously changed his mind. Oh, there's 2 books left. Oh no, now there's 4 books left. And now there's 3 books left. Like he's constantly in fluctuation on that. But my hope is that he soon, 2026 maybe, finishes that book and is able to write enough and create enough of an outline that even if he were to pass, somebody like Brandon Sanderson comes into the rescue again and finishes that final book for him. That would be my hope. I haven't done any content on those books. That's a great question. Different points I've done other fantasy series. I'm a big fantasy reader. I prefer fantasy to sci-fi most of the time. I've done some book clubs on things like Harry Potter. I believe I did some stuff on the what's it called, Kingslayer Chronicles. There's 2 of 3 books published in that series that I really liked. So I've done a few things here and there, but not a ton on my fantasy reading, but maybe that's something I should dive into in the future for sure. Y'all and getting them books, love and peace. Shoot, I hope to live to see the end of the story. I mean, that would be great too. I wasn't talking about me. I'm assuming, knock on something. Is this actual wood? I don't think it's wood. That's wood. I'm assuming I would outlive George R.R. Martin at this particular point, but who knows? This is the first time I came across your channel. You popped up. Oh, that's so great. I'm happy that you did. I have a ton of theories about Ice and Fire. And that I've been doing more content lately on Sarah J. Maas's series of books. I haven't started the third one. What is the third one? Oh goodness. I've done the Thorn and Roses series all the way to the end, and there's a series of live streams and a playlist I've got down below for those. I've done a bunch of the Throne of Glass. I think I've done 4 or 5 of those novels as live stream discussions, although I've got one more to do on that. But I'm not finished with that series. I've got like 3 or 4 more books to read in that series. The Crescent, is it Crescent City? I haven't done any of the Crescent City yet. So I haven't started that one. I've done the Wings of Fourth Wing. Sorry. I did Fourth Wing. I read all of those. I've read all of Dungeon Crawler Carl, and I'm starting to do live streams on some of that. So I guess there is some fantasy book content on my channel now that I think about it. Bobby, I don't think the writer will live to see the end of the story. That's my concern. Yes, that is my concern. His Dark Materials trilogy is a classic. I have not read that since I was a kid, so it's been a while since I've read that. Aggressively relaxing's in the chat. What is going on? AR, good to see you. We're talking Game of Thrones, Libby, and a library card. You can listen to the whole thing. That's right. If you use that Libby app, or I think there's another app that I've used in the past. Starts with an H, I think. Hoopla. Yeah, Hoopla. Same deal. Hedge Knight is like 3 hours long and on YouTube. Oh, I did not know that. That's good to know. My man Terry Vaughn's in the chat. He says, Happy Valentine's and Mardi Gras. What's going on, sir? Aubrey says, you need to read those Crescent City books. Yeah, I'm going to try to finish The Throne of Glass and then get over to Crescent City. That's my goal. I've already bought all of the Throne of Glass series. I've got them in my Kindle. I just need to get around to reading them, slow and steady. What's going on, Perry? Good to see you. Happy Saturday to you, my friend. So that's pretty much it on Game of Thrones and this series. I think people should check it out. It is a whole lot of fun. I want to talk about one other TV show that I've been loving lately that has just come back. I think it came back January 28th. So I think they've only had 3 episodes drop. I'm talking about Shrinking. Gang. This might be my favorite thing I'm watching right now. My favorite show that is producing new episodes. I think this is number 1 for me. And it's just so flipping wonderful. So many things to say about this. So this, if you don't know Shrinking, it's on Apple TV. The producers, other than one, I believe, are the same people that are producing and making Ted Lasso. So it's the same group of people. Brett Goldstein is a writer, actor, producer on it. He plays on Ted Lasso. He's the player turned coach with the growly voice over on Ted Lasso. So he plays a character on Shrinking. Harrison Ford is the one that gets the most fame, I think, from Shrinking because he is just so flipping good. I absolutely love seeing the side of Harrison Ford, the side that can deliver a joke so fluidly, but then turn around and make you cry in the next scene. This is Harrison Ford flexing muscles that he's never had, I think, the opportunity to flex prior. I think he's always done these films that allowed him to kind of mug to the camera and deliver a funny joke or a punchline here or there, but mostly just do cool stunts and get in cool fights and, save the world or save the girl or whatever. And this is nice to see Harrison in this position where he's carrying the dramatic weight, but then also can, take the piss out of a scene. And he is really phenomenal here. I know he tragically missed out on the Emmy last year, and The Gentleman Who Won deserved it because that show was great as well. But I'm hoping that by the time the next season, Emmy stuff comes around, he gets his win because he deserves it. This show is built on his ability to link these characters together. The focus of the show is obviously therapy, and Harrison plays the head of this group of therapists. The main character is Jason Segel, who some of you might know from How I Met Your Mother, and he is a producer and writer and creator on this show as well. And it's mostly Segel and Harrison as the leads. It is just great. It is just great. It's funny. It's heartbreaking. It's clever. And the main focus seems to be about how do we make a community in a world that's so modernized and so separated and everybody is so isolated and nobody says hi to their neighbors or goes outside or whatever. How do we create community? Because that's the solution to almost all the problems I think we're facing in nowadays is this lack of community, this lack of connection, this lack of contact. And so everybody's in their little echo chambers, right? And this, I think, pushes back on that trend. And you get to see the challenges and the hopes and the goals of creating a positive community. So it is absolutely great. I love all the actors, the young folks that are on the on the show, because he's got a daughter who's probably about 18 because she's going off to college, I believe. So in that 18 range, I think you get a nice life experience spectrum going on the show. And then therapy is always at the back line, right? The underlying theme of how do we continue to go through our lives and carry the baggage that we're carrying. That's heavy stuff. And the characters in the story are dealing with huge challenges, Parkinson's and loss of a loved one and PTSD from going to fight for your country. And there's some big, heavy stuff that these characters are carrying, but it doesn't matter who you are. Your life has drama and carries baggage. And so I think that that is universal, and they do a great job of presenting all these challenges. So it's been a pleasure to see that it's back. I believe they've got probably 10 episodes this season, so there's probably 6 or 7 more. And then they've been renewed for season 4. So there will be another season eventually as well. It's just a whole lot of fun. Check it out. If you've got Apple TV, no excuses. If you liked Ted Lasso, you will love Shrinking. It's not even a question. It's all the same feels and vibes. It's that instead of focused on sports, it's obviously focused on therapy. And it's just great. It's just great. So good. We got some other folks chatting in the chat, some good wishes coming along here for people. Perry is a hedge knight. This is true. And he's back again as the cork. What is going on? Sniff, sniff. Good to see you, my friend. Tacoma's in the chat. He says, I've never watched your channel before, but I saw a picture of Dunk and Egg and thought I'd check it out. There you go. If you rewind a little bit, we had a fun discussion around fantasy novels and specifically Game of Thrones and how this new series ties in. Because I'm a big fantasy reader and I love George R.R. Martin's writing, and the tales of Dunk and Egg are very entertaining, very good. So I've been enjoying that show and Shrinking clearly as well. So those are the big shows I've been watching that are kind of new, things I've been checking off the list. We finished the Queer Eye show that wrapped its 10th and final season on Netflix. That was wonderful. I've always really, even from the original series to now, the one from Bravo to now, that's been a great, delightful, joy-filled, positive experience of inclusion I've always really enjoyed. And so I was sad to see that show came to an end, but they did it on their own terms and it was wonderful. I've been going back and rewatching some shows. Charlie has gotten into Modern Family for comedies and CSI for dramas. So we are on season 1 of CSI and I think season 2 of Modern Family. So she's been enjoying some of those. I say Charlie because she's usually the one, because she can't drive yet, who's stuck at home with mom and dad watching stuff. So she's been the one that's been diving into some of those things. The way you just described Ted Lasso, I came in, I thought you were discussing The Pit. I have not started The Pit. The Pit looks so depressing. I don't know. I need a little bit of hope in these shows. I need a little bit of something. I need a glimmer of light. The Pit looks like it's going to depress the life out of me. I don't know. I am wearing my Strange Academy shirt. There was a person I found on Instagram, and I'd have to dive deep to find their Teespring or whatever it was where they were selling their shirts. But I got this one. I got the it's magic shirt where the word magic is spelled like the character and her sword is the letter I. And I got one other shirt. It might have been the Magneto was right shirt all through this person, but it's been a couple of years or so and I can't remember. I'll have to double check. Let's see here. I see you're a comics channel. Do you follow Marvel and DC? Oh, yes, I do. If so, back to sort of Ice and Fire. Are there any characters, places that parallel the ones in Ice and Fire? Oh, that's interesting. I'll have to think about that one, Kirsty, sorry. That is very good. Yeah, because I think romantasy has struggled in the realm of comic books, but that's a great question. There's a friend of mine on Instagram and YouTube who goes by the name of Mars, M-A-R-S, like the planet. And she did a video recently, if I'm not mistaken, where she said, if you're a fan of romantasy, here's some comic books you should read. So she actually covered this topic. I'm trying to remember what she chose to include there. That is a great question. Because usually it's not romance. Usually the stuff that they bring over is just the violence and stuff. And I would need it to be, if it was going to fit, the Ice and Fire stuff. That's tricky. That is a good question. Ooh, tricky. The Pit rules. I hear great things. My older brother is trying to get me to read it. It hits hard, but it is uplifting. Okay. All right. Legion is in the chat. He says, a glimmer of hope, watch Monarch Legacy. I don't know. I still haven't even watched the Godzilla -1, whatever. What's the first one? The Godzilla Zero. I can't remember what they call it. Godzilla +1. Is it plus? I can't. There's so much math. I can't do all the math, Mark. It's all this math. uh, I think they're careful not to show parallels with that. Well, I mean that's for sure. It's its own thing. Sure. I will say one of my favorite fantasy comics, period, is it's called Last Gods, and it's by Philip Kennedy Johnson and artwork by Federini. Federico Federini, I think is his name. But Philip Kennedy Johnson is the author, and they have it in a collected edition. I think it's 12 issues long, and it is a fantasy par excellence. I mean, it is gorgeous artwork, crazy creatures, incredible war and fighting. It is stupendous. So that would probably be a fantasy read in the realm of comics. It's not, it doesn't have any of the romance, but it does have all the graphic violence and all the crazy monsters and all the wonderful history stuff. So let's do that one. It's called Last Gods. It's from DC Comics. So it is published by DC, but it's not a Superman, Batman, anything. It's a separate universe. And it should be able to be found on Amazon or what have you in a collected edition. That's a great one. That is a great one. That would probably be top of my list. If you want something a little lighter, Dark Horse has been publishing the collected editions of Kanto, which is it's not all ages. I would say it's young adult ages, because there is some action violence kind of things, but that's a very beautiful sort of modern fairy tale style that I would recommend as well. Let's see. Scott says we need someone to be doing Archie but romantasy. These publishers are leaving money on the table. They did a couple of because wasn't there the what was the Riverdale, right? They did a Riverdale comic, which is kind of based on the TV show, where it was a little more like, adult themed kind of stuff. It wasn't like adult themed, but it was, it was more. -1. There's so much math. So much math. What's up, warlords in the chat? How you doing, sir? Get Beckerman to tell you about the origin of the wall based off a town he used to live in with our what? Beckerman knows everybody. How is it possible Beckerman knows everybody? This guy. So yeah, there you go, gang. That's what I've been reading. That's what I've been watching. That's what I've been enjoying. We get the banner, take that banner down, get back to chatting with you guys all. BBC romantic comedies, Reckless and Armadillo. Rewatched them recently, make you smile. That's great. Okay, stuff that I can add to my list. Thank you for doing that. What's going on with me? Like I said, I'm off the next 4 days. I'm probably going to shoot a couple more videos to load into the queue so that I'm set deep into March with my my videos that are ready for members only, so that every Thursday you can count on something coming out and something dropping. And then I'm probably going to do some hanging out in chats and joining live streams here and there. I'm busy tomorrow night doing some family stuff. But Monday and Tuesday are pretty chill days, so we can enjoy some time hanging out together, maybe do some odd off hour, unusual timed live streams that might come along with some of that stuff. If I have time, I'll jump on some live streams today and through the week. Hopefully hang out with some people that I don't normally get to. When I have a day off, I like to use it as best as I can. But I got things to put away, things to clean up, and goodies to organize a little bit. As a reminder, channel members have some giveaways coming up. I want to highlight these folks. Did that not? Oh, I thought I clicked on it. Did it go away? Let me show. I don't know that I can see it. Let me try a different one. I think my girls are on the Wi-Fi, so it's a little sleepy. It's not really reacting the right way. But these, if I'm clicking on them and you can see them, that's all that really matters. These are the channel members. Help me keep the StreamYard lights going on around here. I appreciate all these people, and they are entered in the. Oh, there, I saw one of them. Let's try it again. The Wi-Fi is working. Yay, huzzah. Thank you to these folks. Slow and steady. Now I can see them. These are the folks that help keep the StreamYard lights going on around here so that I can continue to go live as often as I like to go live and make my videos. If you want to be in on the channel member giveaways, you just have to hit the join button. This month, I've got 2 prizes I'm going to give away. This Angela first appearance, along with some other goodies. I usually throw some variants in. And I'm also giving away these 2 hardcovers of the Greg Smallwood, Tom King Human Target series. Great, like noir mystery kind of stuff. Really, really great in the DC universe. Next month, for the March giveaway at the end of March, I'll be giving away All In Special number 1, the wraparound cover signed by Snyder with the COA on the back. So there's some fun prizes coming up for those folks. I appreciate people just hanging out, though. That's the best thing you did. Hung out, chatted a little bit, hit the like button or the subscribe so that you can be here the next time. Is there anything to read about the origin you're referring to? Ooh. But I know Beckerman has a YouTube channel. We could always pester him to go live and talk about it. Bobby, I will definitely say hi to the girls. I think Kate is heading off for Galentine's Day today. And a little bit here, she's getting together with her friends to do a little ladies hangout. And then I think she's going out with her boyfriend tonight, which means Charlie and I get to hang out with Becky, my wife, and maybe we'll do some fun galling of our own. But thanks everybody for coming by, for hanging out, for hitting the like button, for chatting, and I'll see you guys again next time.